Alright, hello everyone, it is silverkyle, and today I'm going to be going over everything that I picked up in the month of April 2020. I have 4 Omnibus this month, which is by far the most Omnibus that I've ever bought in one month, so I have a lot of reading to do. I also have a few video games, and something that I'm actually using right now. So we're going to start off with that, and that is an external mic for my phone, which is what I use to record my videos. I find that phones nowadays are, they're 1080p. In terms of video, that's exactly what I want, but the audio, it's a lot lower. So I finally got an external mic, and it makes it a lot clearer, but it makes it a lot louder. But I also find that if I talk a little bit too loud, it kind of messes up the audio a little bit. So I'm trying to bring my voice down to like a medium pace. It's very odd for me to do that. So I have to like force myself not to get too excited, or at least not have my voice get too excited. But yeah, hopefully you actually all notice that there is a little bit better of an audio. Let me know in the comments below if you actually feel that it does sound better. If it sounds a little bit too high or something like that, I can try to adjust things. But yeah, this is going to be a learning thing as I go forward. But hopefully it's a lot louder and clearer for all of you. All right, so next up is video games, and obviously Final Fantasy VII the remake. I picked this up, and I love this. I did an impressions video of this if you want to see a lot more of my thoughts on it, but I'm really enjoying it. I'm about 20 hours in. I think I'm at chapter 11 or 12, so I'm past the halfway mark now. And I will do an updated video, I think in a gaming update, where I talk about all the games that I've been playing once I finally beat this game. So that should be coming out fairly soon, because I'm hoping to actually beat it this weekend. Well, maybe not beat it, but at least get a lot more further into the game. That's my plans for the entire weekend, essentially, is playing Final Fantasy VII. So I should be able to get a lot more into it. Next up, I picked up Doom, because the 2016, I think it's 2016 that this came out, because the sequel to it just recently came out this year, and I want to play that, but I always felt that because of my OCD, I always have to play the first ones that are part of the series, so that I can... I mean, Doom has been around for quite a long time. I have played Doom 1 and Doom 2, a little bit of Doom 3, and I think that was it. I never played anything else after that. So I want to get back into the series, and FPSs, for the most part, I don't care for as much as I used to, but because I've been away from them for quite a long time and playing other games, I am actually quite excited to get into this, because I think that Bethesda makes first-person shooters look a lot more fun than most of the games that have been out. Because there's been so many FPS games, I find, in the last 2 generations, like PS4 and Xbox One, along with Xbox 360 and PS3. They just overloaded that genre, and I was just getting sick of it by the end of the Xbox 360 and PS3 cycle. So I've taken a break from them, but Bethesda has been doing a great job with Wolfenstein and Doom, by the looks of it anyway. So I'm really excited to get into that, and hopefully get the sequel down the line. I don't want to pay the full price, because I feel like these games just go so cheap. I got this for like $20 or something like that, brand new. One game that I had to pay a little bit more, and I was expecting not to, but I think that it's because they only made a certain amount of these, is Pillars of Eternity, the first one, the complete edition, which I've always heard of, and I like the idea of this game. It is a kind of a little bit like Diablo. It's a top-down view, but it's an RPG where you have a group of people that you control, I believe, or at least a group that you're going around with, and massively long game. Better probably on PC, but I want to try it out on Xbox One, because I actually ended up really enjoying Diablo 3 on the Xbox One. So I'm hoping that it kind of has that a little bit of a feel to it. I've also played Divinity Original Sin, the first game, and that also played very well on the Xbox One. So I'm hoping that this is kind of in the same vein, and that it'll work really well on the Xbox One. Arguably, probably better on PC, and I have a PC to run that, but you don't get a physical copy on PC anymore. Well, I don't feel like collecting PC games in terms of like actually owning them. I'm fine with just buying them digitally, but there's only a few games that I really want to play on PC. I'm so strange. I'm weird. I'm a console player, essentially. All right, now let's get on to the omnibus that I have here. Let's start with this. So I got the Wolverine omnibus, volume 1. I am so excited to dive into this. Once I'm done reading 2 other major books here, this is probably going to be the next book that I'm going to be reading in terms of omnibus. I love the art that they have in here, and I've always loved Wolverine. He's definitely one of my favorite superheroes of all time. And yeah, I'm just hoping that they sold a lot of this so that they end up making a volume 2, 3, 4, 5. I want tons of this. I want them to get up to the point where they are in the mid to late 90s Wolverine stuff, which is what I grew up with, and that we have them in omnibus format. That would be absolutely phenomenal and amazing. I didn't, and for all of these omnibus, except for the one that I'm holding in my hand here, I've done an overview, and this one I got just a few days ago, so I will be doing an overview of this probably tomorrow or the next day. So that's coming up. So, Astonishing X-Men. This is another reprint that just came out this or in April of 2020. So happy that they have this out. I do need to still get though new X-Men, which has been out for a while, and it is on a reprint, I believe. But I think that it's becoming low in stock, so I'm kind of getting nervous because I think that new X-Men, from what I hear, is a better starting off point for the X-Men than Astonishing X-Men would be. So you'd read New X-Men, then move on to this. So that's kind of what I'm hoping to do. Because I've read some X-Men like in the 90s, and I'm currently reading the current run from Jonathan Hickman, which I absolutely love. But yeah, I do want to kind of read everything from the X-Men, and we just don't have reprints of the original stuff from Stan Lee, and I think Kirby was the artist for at least the beginning, and then he might have had different ones until they did the resurgence of it in the 70s with Claremont. What's his name? I can't remember what his name is. I'm not going to try to say it, but whatever. The guy that took over for like 17 years or something, the X-Men. What's his name? It's bothering me now. I do have Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, and we are getting reprints of Volume 2 and 3, and Volume 4, which is new, the latest X-Men, Uncanny X-Men that we're going to be getting, is coming out. Apparently it was supposed to come out at the end of the year. Now, because of everything, it might be shifted into 2021. But that would be amazing to have Uncanny X-Men 1 to 4, and I'd be able to get caught up on quite a bit of X-Men by that point, and then slowly start getting into. We need more 90s or like 80s stuff, late 80s and 90s stuff, and then new X-Men, Astonishing X-Men. We're getting slowly caught up to where we are currently, which is amazing. This is so exciting to me. I love reading things in chronological order. Speaking of which, so the last two omnibus here are Amazing Spider-Man by JMS Volume 1 and Volume 2, which was a lot heavier. So I have Volume 2 just came out in April, and Volume 1 came out last year, but I hadn't picked it up yet. And it seems to be going close to out of print, definitely low in stock if it's not out of print yet. So now I have both volumes. I from what I've heard, I could probably start off with this. I have read quite a bit more Spider-Man than I have of X-Men, and I'm currently reading that as well right now. It's not as good as Jonathan Hickman's X-Men. I think I'm also reading X-Force as well from the X series. Anyway, yeah, so I'm thinking of definitely diving into this, but we'll see, because Spider-Man, I just want everything to be in chronological order. I would love for them to have gone that route instead. So you have Volume 1 to like 10 or something like that. Well, you'd need a lot more for some of these titles here, but yeah, I would love for them to have the full run of the Amazing Spider-Man, X-Men, and that we're just slowly getting into. I would love all the 60s stuff, the 70s stuff, the 80s stuff. You know, we would probably be at now the 90s if they would have gone in chronological order instead of kind of dipping everywhere, but I do understand that not necessarily everybody wants that, and then when you have volumes, you always feel like you have to have the previous volume, which I do agree with. My OCD kind of takes over, whereas if they just do this, and they say, we're going to do the JMS run, so, you know, that's what, I think in 99, they would have restarted Spider-Man, so I think in the early 2000s, they probably would have been doing this run, and you can kind of jump on there and then read Volume 2 of JMS, and then they would focus on something else. So I still understand it, but I love reading things from beginning to end, because I feel that there's so much history, especially with these, that you're sometimes missing out on. Not all the time. They do actually do a fairly good job of trying to catch you up on everything, all the big points, and that it is still accessible to new readers for the most part, for a lot of these different runs of all these comics. So anyway, there you have it. That's all my pickups for the month of April 2020. So thank you all for watching. Let me know in the comments below definitely about the audio and also what you've picked up in the previous month. So thank you all for watching. You've been Bearded. Beardage.